Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm here with Mary the Magnificent, and we are going to do the all spoiler talk review of Batman vs. Superman. So if you don't want spoilers, you better get out of this video and come back after when you do want spoilers, because we're going to talk about everything, spoil the whole damn thing, and there's a lot to talk about. My arm's probably going to get tired on this one. God, I kind of want to start right at the end, but we won't, just in case some people want some spoilers but don't want all the spoilers.
Okay.
So we can start from the beginning.
With a random spoiler at the beginning?
But you know what? I should set up real quick too. I accidentally spoiled The Dark Knight Returns for her. She hadn't read it. I kind of told her the last beat of the story without thinking. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
and the thing is, he was starting to talk. I was like, wait a minute. He's going like, and he gets the look of, oh, I was like, yeah, you did.
yeah, I totally did. I'm a jerk. Sorry. Unfortunately, she's not like my dad either, who can forget 5 minutes later. Bummer. But that being said, I'm terribly sorry. So Batman, Superman. Oh God. Okay. Now, how did it even begin? Okay, it began with kind of the flashback of Bruce Wayne's parents dying, and him falling into the thing. And I thought all that was actually well done.
This is just kind of random. The thing with the pearls is probably the best thing with the pearls ever.
Yeah, I was gonna mention the Martha Wayne's pearls. They really played up the pearls, and we're all kind of like, oh, do we have to have this scene again and blah blah blah. You do. It actually plays into the movie. It's important to set up, and like I had forgotten for the longest time that his mother's name was Martha Wayne.
Yeah,
I wasn't even thinking about that. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, because Clark's Martha Kent and Martha Wayne. Oh, and that definitely came into play. And we'll get more into that. But the opening sequence was really artsy and really beautiful. And I got a little excited. There was something I was hoping they would give me. They didn't. I was thinking, oh, are they going to do kind of this whole here's the 40 years of Batman's life and just quick cuts. You see him catching some villains. You see him punch the Joker or something. I thought that is going to be so awesome. They didn't do that. Instead, when he's in the pit and surrounded by bats, as you've seen in the multiple interpretations, he starts flying, as if the bats are somehow pulling him up. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? And it's a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And Bruce is narrating, and he's like, in the dream, they lift me and I'm flying, or something like that.
And they lift him up to the light.
Yeah, lifted him up to the light. So that was kind of interesting, and it kind of got into his mentality. So I thought that was kind of fascinating. Then where we go from there? So then I guess we go to the destruction of Metropolis from Bruce's point of view. And I don't know if the guy he called, was it Ben or something like that? It doesn't really matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know if that's a comic guy. Maybe it is. If it is, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. But if it's not, then I'm like, well, why couldn't we do a Lucius or something? Although,
because you don't want him to actually die?
You may have just seen the look on my face as I said that. Again, I'm processing it right as we talk. That's a very good point. Okay, I just thought that would have been cooler, but she's right. You wouldn't want to blow him out yet. You might need him. Although, I mean, it looks like Alfred's really kind of the Lucius in this one, and Alfred's building all the tech and shit.
I am loving Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
Yeah, he is really good, and not only is he good and believable as someone that helps Batman and an Alfred that could kick some ass if need be, but he's got that great wit, that great
I can't decide if the relationship is more like old married couple or Jewish mother-son team.
Yeah, maybe somewhere. It's kind of some combo of both of those things. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Because Alfred just puts him on some guilt trips.
Right, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, their relationship is really good in this. And I like seeing Alfred being involved and kind of helping out and making suggestions. And, just totally giving him shit through the whole thing. So that was a lot of fun. And then, we got a little more of the destruction stuff that we saw where he saves the little girl and everything. And just because it's a plot point that we'll need to discuss a little bit later, there's one of the security guards, a random guy who beam falls on him. He's going to lose his legs. So, so you'll see him in a wheelchair without legs later. And so, that was pretty much the beginning of him being pissed at Superman.
Yeah.
And it gets very interesting from there. So then we go on to, I guess this is when we start doing the Senator. Right, I think.
Yes, Kentucky finally gets a halfway decent senator.
Yeah. It turns out I can't think of the actress's name. I'm blanking so hard right now. The one
never
running.
caught it.
Well, she's famous, like super famous. Like I should just know it, and I know it, but I can't think of it. I want to say like not Diane Lane. I think that's the mom. Anyways, you know who I'm talking about. Well, don't worry about that right now. We'll look it up later. Okay, she's gonna look it up.
I'm gonna look it up now because it's gonna drive me insane.
Okay, fair enough. Anyways, yeah, turns out she's the Democratic senator from Kentucky, the one running all the hearings about Superman and what his power is and everything. Oh no, actually, before we cut to that, we cut to the Indian Ocean and the wreckage of the World Destroyer.
Yeah.
And all these kids diving for rocks and everything. And yeah, they find a giant rock of kryptonite, which, we kind of expected that to be the case. So, of course, kryptonite plays out big time in this movie. And we'll get more into that the deeper we get into this. So now we're at the Senate hearings and everything and, people having their...
Actually, you skipped a bit.
Did I?
Yeah, Lois Lane out in the Middle East.
Oh, yeah. This is important, too. Lois is at, well,
because that's how we get to the hearings.
Yeah, she's right. And this, because this is something else I want to bring up. This is one of those character change things coming up here. So Lois goes out to interview some kind of warlord, and has the photographer, and there's like guards with guns and everything in the Middle East. Turns out her photographer actually worked for the CIA. She didn't know. He brought a bug or whatever. So, they kill her and kidnap Lois.
Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter, thank you. That's the senator.
Senator Finch.
Senator Finch, Democrat senator from Kentucky. But anyway, so they execute the photographer CIA guy and capture Lois. And while the warlord is kind of interrogating Lois, some of the hired gun guys start shooting all the other hired gun guys, and then they take off. And I think they were burning the place. It looked like maybe, but of course so the warlord puts the gun on Lois or whatever, and Superman shows up with actually it's really spectacular because you hear the sonic boom, and then he just crushes in, and he's like, yeah, what now? And you just see Lois relax because she knows. It's like, okay, I'm good now. But then Superman
just punches him through a wall.
Yeah, well, and again, I don't hate that he snapped Zod's neck in Man of Steel. I can buy into that. So that doesn't bother me. But for him to kind of kill this guy so easily and willy-nilly when he didn't need to, because this is like 18 months later or something. So by now Superman should have a better handle on, I don't need to kill, I'm not going to kill. So that kind of was the first kind of out of character moment that I was concerned about.
Do we just want to go ahead and talk about the whole killing thing in general, or are we doing this all in order?
Well, I'm trying to stay as in order as I can, but we can jump around as we go. But we'll get there. I wanted to go back on the senator and everybody just real quick. Then we can start touching on that. I'm saving the best for last. So Senate hearings, everybody's like questioning what Superman should do. Should he blah, 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 blah. And he's never showing up. A lot of people love him. A lot of people hate him because, people lost loved ones, so they hate him. Or he saved loved ones, so they love him. It's pretty realistic in that regard as to how people would feel about things as they do in this world. But what's interesting is Lex, he can't get the giant rock of kryptonite into the country. So he needs these government people to let him bring this in because it's radioactive materials.
Yeah, so it's basically a homeland security issue. Basically.
Right, no, planetary security. I mean, it's a cool line. I'm not making fun of it. But his whole thing is like, hey, it's a silver bullet, it's a deterrent. You don't need to use it, but having it is a good thing. And basically it turns out the Holly Hunter senator, she's not going to buy into that. And she's like, nope, I'm blocking it. Whatever you do, blah, 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 blah. And then there's all this stuff about you can piss in a jar and tell me it's my mom's peach tea. I'm still not going to drink it, which comes back and plays in a big scene with the legless guy. Turns out the legless guy, he goes and defaces the statue with false god and gets arrested. Lex bails him out, gives him a fancy wheelchair and says, hey, I'll give you a purpose, basically. Turns out this guy had been not taking his checks from Wayne Corp, because he couldn't work and everything, and he was sending them back with all these angry messages, and he's the one that wrote, "You let your family die." Well, actually, I guess Lex did. I don't know, I have to see it again. It's not clear who actually wrote it. Probably the legless guy probably wrote it. So anyways, they're in the court, and the lady realizes Lex didn't come in the room, and, she sees the Granny's peach tea on the thing and just slowly and realizes, and this is one of the coolest moments in the movie for me, because this is a cool Superman thing you never see. Whole fucking courthouse blows the hell up. And, Superman stands there right in the middle as, the flames die down, because he didn't see it coming. And, there's nothing he could have done to react. And just that, how fucked up that would have to be, that everybody just gone in a heartbeat. And, you're just there and you couldn't save anybody. which I think is the thing that they're not really hitting on with Superman. They need to hit on, like, that's the emotional beat, is the thing that makes Superman interesting is not that he's invulnerable and, you know, can't be killed, and, well, maybe, and all this stuff, but it's,
he can't save everybody.
yeah, he can't save everybody, and that they need to play up a little bit more, and I think this is one of those scenes they actually finally played on that. So that was very cool. So, of course, this, you know...
I was kind of annoyed that Luthor sent his personal assistant in to die.
That was
like,
surprising. Yeah, he let his personal assistant go in there, and I could have sworn she's like a comic character, an actual comic character.
I think she is.
So it's kind of a waste maybe, but again, I guess it helps you not see it coming. So
yeah.
Now, of course, one of the other senators, he hooked Lex up with everything he wanted, access to the ship, Zod's body, all this shit, and then Lex like feeding him the Jolly Rancher. That was just fucking creepy.
No, that was what we call a power play.
Yeah, but it was still creepy.
Yeah.
And but
now,
yeah.
was that senator in the hearing with the other one? I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know that he was. I don't think they really showed that.
All right.
So anyways, Lois, by the way, finds a bullet, an unusual bullet from the fight in the Middle East. And turns out there's this whole, you know, she uncovers that LexCorp basically created this metal alloy, and he had hired security there, and he did this whole frame job on Superman to get these hearings started. So Lex has been playing everybody for like 2 years straight. He's been building up this Batman-Superman thing. Apparently he knows who they are and everything, so. But yeah, let's get to Batman a little bit. All right, Affleck is great as Bruce Wayne. He's really good as Batman. He's not in the traditional Batman suit enough. There's like equal time in the Nightmare Batman suit, equal time in the Power Armor suit. You get this chase scene where you don't really get to see him in the suit. There's really only the final battle scene where you're seeing him, you know, in the Batman suit. So for me, I don't feel like I got as much of Batman.
That doesn't bother me at all.
And that's fair. And I mean, maybe that's just me personally, because that was the thing I was most excited for, is this Dark Knight Batman.
I liked him best when he was just being Bruce Wayne.
Well, I loved him as Bruce Wayne, and I love this is the best Bruce Wayne they've given us.
And oh crap, you want to keep things in order.
No, I'm jumping around now, so we're fine.
Okay, because what I really loved is that they played with the dynamic of which you have Superman and Wonder Woman who are virtually indestructible, and you have Batman going like, yeah, if he touches me, I'm a dead man. And you see Batman having to strategize accordingly, and
you could tell he's using his wits, not his muscle.
And that's actually the brilliant thing about the fight between Superman and Batman is, now my roommate was saying it's a cop-out that he has a power suit. That's not a cop-out, it's a tool. And you can tell he has methodically laid out the entire fight in advance.
As a great Batman should.
To, you know, and he would have taken down Superman if fate more or less hadn't intervened. Yeah,
pretty much. And that's interesting too. So the fight actually, all the groundwork Lex laid out doesn't really work, but it kind of does, because what really ends up causing the fight is Lex kidnaps Martha Kent and gives Superman like an hour and says, go over there and bring me back the head of Batman, or we're gonna burn your mom alive. And like gives him Polaroids of like her gagged, and like it looks like witch is carved into her head, which it's not, so I guess they just wrote it. But I mean, they're like terrifying Polaroids of, you know, so I mean, and so he goes over there, he like tells Lois, he's like, look, I gotta go see if I can get Bruce Wayne to help me, because apparently they don't give a shit about secret identities. He's like, I gotta get him to help me, or I'm gonna have to kill him.
And in all honesty, I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that Superman shows up and goes, wait, gotta tell you something. And Superman basically goes, nope.
Yeah, Batman doesn't listen. Yeah.
Batman, sorry.
Yeah, it's slip of the tongue. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a flaw, but that's one of those things I can overlook, because I mean, you know, they need to have
at that point, I'm kind of chalking that to Batman just being completely ramped up at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because he was like the working out scene when he's like getting ready for that fight was pretty intense, with like pulling the tire and all the weightlifting and everything.
He's making the Arrow go, oh shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
I gotta up my game.
Yeah. Now, I got to talk about the big change to Batman that I think is going to piss a lot of people off. And this is the one thing that I'm really not liking about this Batman. This Batman kills a lot of fucking people intentionally. And we're not just talking in nightmare and dream sequences. I mean, like, he's just mowing down people with machine guns and his bat plane and blowing up cars and, like, swinging cars into other cars and flipping them and crushing them. And it's like he does not care about life. And that's kind of annoying.
And I think there's really two ways you can run with this. One is that yes, they've changed the character. The other
Big
one,
change.
and like I said, and this is where I'm going back to Daredevil, who's another character who does not kill.
He tries not to.
Yeah. The thing is, and you see the damage he's dealing out, and you're sitting there like, half those guys are dead. And
Yeah, but
but it sort of goes back to the whole, if you don't see them all, are they really dead?
But with Daredevil, well, okay, two things. With Daredevil, he at least gives them a chance to get out alive. He doesn't just show up in his bat plane and start fucking gunning people down.
Yeah.
Or just show up out of the blue and ram a car and flip it into a fucking building. I mean, at least Daredevil's kind of giving them a little bit of warning to be like, oh fuck, let me get out of here. Airbags aren't. You saw that destruction. I'm like, what the fuck is? The Batmobile is fucking sick though.
Yeah. But I think this is probably going to be something we'll see in interviews and whatnot with the director now that the movies come out.
This is going to be a big bone of contention with a lot of people. I think this is the next. Superman doesn't kill people and snap. Well, it's the same. It's the same goddamn thing, only like 10 times worse because it's a character that's more notorious for not killing.
But actually, no, that's, again, historically, original Batman used a gun.
Well, the Batman nobody wants to remember.
So it's not exactly unprecedented.
But even in like the Dark Knight Returns, which they're riffing on heavily, there's a lot of Dark Knight Returns in here. Even in that, like, he's not killing. There's a moment when it's like he's shooting all these people and he's like, rubber bullets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they couldn't have done that in here, but even that, it's like, no, he's blowing people up, so rubber bullets won't cut it. And in the nightmare sequence, he is using a gun and he's shooting people, and it is weird, but you can kind of be like, well, it's a dream sequence. It's like when all hell has broken loose and all shit has hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of let that one go, but I mean, there's stuff that's like real life parts of the movie where he's just like, bye.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer for me.
This is a older Batman. This is a Batman who's been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
He may have finally reached a point where he said, okay.
Well, and that's kind of, that's valid in the sense that may be what they were going for, because they even had that moment where Bruce Wayne's like, we're criminals, Alfred. We've always been criminals.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what they're going for, but that's the thing that really kind of bummed me out. But anyways, so, you guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, spoiler tag, just in case, even though this is all the spoiler video. But yeah, so Wonder Woman was really cool, though. They didn't use very much of her, but she's cool, got a great theme.
Really looking forward to her movie.
Yeah, we got the lasso. The lasso of truth actually played out, and it was cool. We weren't expecting it. She's a badass fighter. Her whole thing, it's interesting because Lex apparently knows who all the metahumans are. He's got files on all of them, and he had a photograph of her from like 1918. So,
yeah,
that was interesting. And then, there was a line from Perry White, too, telling Clark about, it's not 1938 anymore, no one cares. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was the year Superman began. And they were making like a reference of, you can't be that wholesome Superman from 1938 because it's not 1938 anymore. So I thought that was kind of clever.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so Perry
White.
Perry White.
He's played by a black man.
Yeah, that's fine. I like Lauren. I think that's a fine change.
No, I like the character. It's just, it's usually when the comics do names like that.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying because he's Perry White. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. But anyways, the point I want to make. So Lex is doing his experiment to create Doomsday. In the ship in the middle of Metropolis, and this thing is putting off lightning storm, like massive lightning storm, all over the buildings for, at least a good 20-30 minutes. It looks like
evacuates.
Especially them, because they've been through this shit. They've been through this shit. And then at the end, Batman, like, he's fighting Doomsday, and there's one really cool moment where Superman, but I'll get to that. And he's like, I gotta go back and get the kryptonite spear, because he did kryptonite grenades and kryptonite spear, and all that's cool. But it's like, I gotta go back to Gotham and get it. And he's like leading Doomsday back to the city, and they're like, but he did throw in the line like, this area's abandoned.
The harbor was abandoned.
Yeah, the harbor's abandoned. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Which is why he chose to fight Superman there.
Right. Yes. Good point. But there's a very cool moment also out of the comics, where Superman's punching the shit out of Doomsday all the way up into space, and the humans decide to nuke them. And there's this cool thing when it's like zombie Clark just floating in space, all emaciated and gray, and then the sun comes out, and you just see him kind of coming back to life, and bam, back down into the fray. That was really cool, and a really cool image, and I kind of want a pop figure of that. Also want a pop figure of the armored Batman with half the mask broken off. I have the armored one, but half the mask broken off would be cool. But yeah, so that was all really neat. I halfway thought when Lois was drowning under rubble to get the spear, I thought maybe Aquaman was going to show up again.
No.
Yeah, I know, but I just thought maybe. I thought that'd be kind of a nice surprise since we've seen pretty much everything else in the trailers. But that was cool seeing Aquaman in the little clip on, the files. The Flash. We got to talk about the Flash. We saw very little of the Flash, but I don't know that I like this guy's the Flash. And yes, I'm a huge fan of the TV show, but I was open to another interpretation of Barry Allen. This guy's kind of way off.
I don't have enough evidence.
Yeah, I mean it's early, but so there is a scene where he shows up though, and like it's really weird. Like it looks like it's supposed to be future Flash coming back to tell Bruce Wayne something, and he's like, "Oh, am I too early?" If I didn't know that scene was supposed to happen, this is what we're talking about, and that was supposed to be the Flash, we're not sure we would have figured out that was the Flash.
Yeah, because it's
something is really weird with the costume.
Well, this costume was disintegrating or phasing in and out or something.
Yeah,
it was doing something really weird.
Yeah, like it was bizarre.
I would need to see it again to really kind of like, this is like when you get the Blu-ray and put it on slow-mo, go, what the hell is going on here?
There's gonna be a lot of that, yeah.
But and the thing is, I'm not even sure it had a point, because the message that he gave to Bruce didn't play out in any way, because Bruce didn't exactly pass it on to anybody else. He's not the one who really went, oh, duh, we need to go find whatever. It's...
Right. Well, I think that's clearly set up for Dawn of Justice, because I think Dawn of Justice, I'm almost positive, is going to be Darkseid.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be, and that's set up for that. It's got to be.
But it sounded like it's like Lois and the stone is the key, which is the spear and Lois.
I did not hear him say anything about the stone.
I did.
Okay, so I didn't hear that. I just heard Lois is the key. And then he's like, "Oh, am I too late? Am I too early? Am I too early?"
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Again, that's one we need to rewatch on Blu-ray. But the really weird thing about that is after that, it shows Bruce fly awake. Well, no, it starts that before that happens. He flies awake at the Bat computer from the nightmare sequence. And then this Flash scene happens, and then he flies awake again. But you still see papers blowing around. So it's kind of confused a little bit in the sense that when did he put his head down? Did he, like, if the Flash thing was really supposed to happen, why did he wake up from a dream? I'm confused on that moment.
The Speed Force works in mysterious ways.
Apparently. I guess we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, because that was weird.
Oh.
And there's something about, I mean, I don't know, it almost looks like a stereotype of an Asian street punk bad guy from a kung fu movie is playing Flash. He's got like this like pencil thin little goatee thing going on or something.
I don't know.
It's weird, man. Let me know what you think of the Flash. It's weird. The cyborg creation was awesome though. And I can't remember the character's name, but like is it his father or whatever, the scientist that creates him? But that was really cool. And he looks like what he should have looked like, so that was some good setup. She'll tell you in a second.
Yes.
But I just want to keep rolling here while we're going, because we're getting through this. Doomsday. I really think they obviously they really screwed up showing Doomsday in the trailer. It would have been way cooler a reveal if we didn't know what Lex was doing. And we're like, is he going to bring Zod back? What the hell? And then, boom, Doomsday pops out. Like, that would have been way cooler. What I do like about it is they did show him evolving, and he starts to look a lot more like Doomsday is supposed to look by the end of the fight. So I thought that was very cool. Even like the hand gets cut off and like all the spears come out of the hand and more spears come out of everywhere else. So that was actually really neat. And the Doomsday fight, what you could see of it was very cool. It is a lot of smoke and debris and lightning. And it's, it's kind of cut all over the place. It's somewhat disorienting.
This is going to take a minute.
So 20 minutes later, it's Joe Morton was the... Sorry. Yeah, so, okay. In the cyborg thing, that was cool.
Yeah.
Doomsday, yeah. So the Doomsday fight was cool, what you could see of it. She whipped out the lasso of truth. So they did the death of Superman. Not sure how Superman, if he So Lois was drowning. Superman hears it, goes over to save Lois.
Mhm.
And he goes down and gets the spear. But then, the kryptonite, by the time he comes like 5-10 feet down in the water and gets the spear and comes up, it's affected him enough where he's starting to drown in the water. So she has to then save him. But somehow he can fly all the way the fuck to Doomsday holding the spear.
Sheer determination.
I know. I mean, they kind of tried to show that on his face, so I bet you that's their reasoning. But come on, guys.
If I was Lois, it's like, how about we hand the spear to that Amazon chick over there?
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like, toss it to her, man. Give it to Bats. Let Bats swing it over to her, and But yeah, I mean, he gets like stabbed through the chest, and it's brutal. And I almost teared up a little bit with the death of Superman.
And on top of that, he does because he's impaled. He's got the spear on the other guy, and he's pulling him, basically impaling himself further to finish getting the spear through Zod.
Yeah, Doomsday. Yeah. And they take him down, apparently. Who knows? Doomsday is kind of unkillable, but we'll see. But yeah, so then they did that, and apparently I couldn't catch it. I need to pause. Perry White grabs a newspaper hot off the press, which I'm not sure they would actually do.
Yes, they would.
Would they? Okay. I couldn't tell. I felt like you shifted or something, so I wasn't sure because her dad was a pressman. So I thought, oh, was that inaccurate? I figured she would know. All right, good. Okay, so it wasn't inaccurate. But anyways, I wanted to pause because I didn't catch it all. Like apparently, they said Clark Kent died too. Died
in the Battle of Gotham, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I'm glad you caught it. I didn't catch what the top part of the article said. So that's what that said. Okay. So, they buried Clark out in Kansas while they buried an empty coffin out in Metropolis and made kind of a big deal out of that. And, so, I mean, that was kind of neat. And there's some comic references in there. And with the death of Superman, I would have cried had they, as they lowered him down, if a big chunk of his cape tore off and could have flapped in the wind to kind of look like the comic cover. That was the only thing missing from that. And that little touch would have put me just over, and I would have been in tears. But, because, it was sad and I wasn't expecting it. But again, that's part of why we're talking about this movie is a fucking bummer. I mean, in a good way. I like bummer movies, but it's like, whoa, okay. I didn't know they were going to be that dark and depressing. Now, at the very end, we close in on Clark's coffin, and Lois had thrown a handful of dirt, and you just see it start to levitate like he's going to fly, and it's out. So we know we're getting the return of Superman, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, then that's how they kind of set up Justice League. Is Bruce is like talking to Diana. He's like, "You need to find all these others, and we'll get them together, and they'll fight." And she's like, "Why would they fight?" He's like, "Just a feeling I have."
And flashes back to him visiting Lex Luthor, who has been arrested.
Yes, gets his head shaved.
And Batman pays him a little visit in jail.
Yeah, that is fun.
And
this is where we get true Lex Luthor. Like the rage of Lex Luthor.
The rage or the rave, because...
the raving madness. That's better, yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't really read the Batman comics, okay? I've mostly seen the cartoons. I'm used to the calm, cool, extremely methodical Lex Luthor. The guy who, will go like, okay, take this down to R&D as a cure for cancer, but tell them to make it take 10 years to, for the full course of treatments.
Yeah. No, I could see the difference there. And again, from I know, this is not an interpretation of Lex we've really seen. But again, is this supposed to be the Lex Luthor, or is this supposed to be Lex Luthor Jr.? Because he's definitely, he had a father named Lex Luthor, and he's Alex Luthor. So, I mean, I don't know how they're trying to play it. Maybe that's just the conceit, is you can let it be either way that way.
It could be that, but it's almost Lex Luthor via Heath Ledger's Joker.
A little bit of that. That's a pretty good analogy. Yeah, there's definitely some of that in there. But I mean, I liked it. I thought he was great. So him and Batman, I'm down. Superman, I still like. I like Zack Snyder when he's making other movies. They need to let somebody else, because they don't have a Kevin Feige, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. They don't have somebody running the DC part of Warner Brothers with a grand vision. And, I mean, Snyder is a good filmmaker, but he's more like a Michael Bay, and I'm not a hater on Michael Bay. You know what you're getting with Michael Bay, and Michael Bay does what Michael Bay does wonderfully. That's kind of the same with Zack Snyder. But Zack Snyder doesn't do story wonderfully. Because it's not really moving. You don't get all that emotionally connected to anything that much, and these are like the childhood heroes of mine, so I should feel a little more connected and like joy, but no, there's no joy. Except for there was this great line from Martha Kent after Batman saves her. And Batman's like, I'm a friend of your son's. And she's like, I kind of figured, you know, the cape and all. That was really, that was like the funniest moment in the movie, probably. Like one of the only 2 jokes.
Yeah.
And Batman, you saw him kind of joking in the trailers. It works because he was, in context, he's not really joking. They're just kind of funny lines because of the timing. So that was cool. And it was neat hearing Batman say, oh shit. You know, that's just kind of cool because you don't really get that.
It's so well timed.
Yeah, it is really well timed. Yeah, I mean, there's so much. I mean, it's a 2.5 hour movie, guys. It's a dense movie, so there's a lot, and I need to process a lot more of it too. The parademons were awesome in the nightmare sequence. It's good seeing a Batman that actually kicks some ass.
Is that what those wing things were called?
Yeah, parademons. Yeah,
Okay.
it's all a
know
dark
that.
side thing. Yeah, because you saw the big Omega symbol, the sign
Oh,
of
I saw
dark
the
side.
Omega symbol. I just didn't.
Yeah, that's the symbol of dark side.
Oh.
So that's why I'm pretty sure that's what Dawn of Justice were setting up for Darkseid. And that's probably what Lex is referring to when he said the bells have been rung, that the Earth's god is dead. You know, the galaxy now knows. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to watch it over and over again. It's not Star Wars. I'm not rushing back to the theater to see it 5 times, but it was very enjoyable. I'll be thinking about it a lot and giving it some thought process, so.
So this officially make it the beginning of summer blockbuster season?
Yeah. If it hasn't started already, which no, I guess it hasn't. Yeah, this is probably this is the first of the summer blockbusters. Nice. Yeah, you know.
Bit
It's
early, but
Yeah, barely. Yeah, because it's still March. Yeah.
because this is like supposed to be graveyard season, or is that just February?
Oh, all that stuff has changed, man. Like all they finally realized, oh, you know what? People go to the movies all year, so we can give them cool stuff all the time. You know, I mean, Deadpool was in February, like the
True.
deadest month of the year, and it's like breaking records. So, but yeah, so again, we liked it. You know, I can't say I loved it, but we definitely liked it. It's going to be polarizing. So again, like I said, my channel, I like to keep it fun. You know, it's a place for geeks to talk. We can have dissenting opinions. We can politely argue. We can have fun with it. But, you know, let's not get hateful with one another. All right. Let's all be cool and discuss. Let's talk in the comments because there's a lot to talk about. And I would love to know your thoughts. Again, try to keep it spoiler free at least through the weekend just because, you know, or at least spoiler tag because we don't want people stumbling across it and ruining their good time, even though all this information's already out there. But yeah, I want to know, did you like it? Did you
Do we
not?
have to worry about spoilers in this one? Because this is a spoiler video.
Well, I know that's I don't know, right? I mean, that's true. It's a matter of do they stumble across comments or not. So probably don't have to worry, but just, you know, play it safe if you can. Just till the weekend's over. But yeah, so if you like the video, give me that thumbs up. Subscribe because I need subscribers because I like subscribers. They're yummy for breakfast. I don't know.
No, you cannot eat the subscribers. For
Are you sure? Some of them might like it.
No.
Okay, all right. Sorry, guys. But anyways, I'll let you know. All I got to say about this is this is my world. And you are my world. Later.